bitches! I walk through the airport with kilos in my bag.
Hello, world. What's up, guys? What's up? This is Dave with the Fight Bananas podcast. How's everyone doing out there? All right, man. We're keeping it going. We're going to get this show spicy. There you go. That was just too easy. That was too easy. Our guest today, guys, is Drew Spicy Houp, fighter, Orlando, Florida, Jungle MMA and Fitness. You know, we know that very well. We just had Felicia Spencer on, Megan Colley, big fan of the show. We are a big fan of her. So we're going to talk to Drew here in a second, and I want to break it down with him. I want to talk about how he got into the fight game, how he got into Orlando, how he became a part of the Jungle, and then also, I want to talk to him about some of these champions going forward. 2020 is going to be such a big banner year for the UFC and some fighters. So, we're going to get this show started, man. Check out WarhammerFightwear.com. Check them out through that Amazon app. Man, they're just family to us. Check them out. The leggings for the ladies. I got some of the tees I wear on that daily. WarhammerFightwear.com. All right, let's get spicy on the line. All right, guys, here we go. We're going live with this Drew Spicy Houp. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you today?
Doing good, man. Crazy. I was just talking about this intro song you got me vibing to. I love listening to new jams and new music. It's awesome, man. How did you hear that song? And, I love that you're vibing to it right now.
My friend back where I'm from in Tampa, he showed me Stitches. It's just super ignorant music. I love ignorant music. It gets me hyped to start my day.
It's definitely, for me, it's Kilos in the Bag or Baby Baby Shark. So I got to pick either one. You know what I mean?
I understand that. I was a preschool teacher for a little while, so I understand that fully.
Whoa, what's up with the Jungle MMA and Fitness with teachers and vibing into fighting you and Felicia Spencer?
Yeah, right. I was when I moved to Orlando, I needed a job, and I had coached kids in Tampa, and there was a school close to me, and they hired me as a preschool teacher, so I did that for about a year.
Okay. What transpired the move from Tampa to Orlando?
So I moved with my parents. So I found the sport when I was about 15, and I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I graduated high school, and I was boxing, and I made my debut in 2015. And my parents were moving, and I was training full time. I didn't have enough money to have my own place. So I moved with them, actually to Claremont, where I trained with Ross Kellen for a little while, and he put me in contact with Mike at the Jungle. And then I've been here for about 3 years now.
Oh, down there at Champions MMA?
Yeah. When I moved to Claremont, I was pretty close to Lakeland, and I'd actually met one of their pros years prior at the mall in my small hometown. And I remembered him, and I called him, and he put me in contact with Ross. And I trained there for about a year when I lived in Claremont. And then when I moved over to this side of town, he put me in contact with Mike.
Right. Yeah, no, I've been to that gym a couple of times. Jessica Borga, just a budding superstar in the mixed martial arts game. So I talked to her a couple of times. Yeah, it's a sick gym. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good vibes. Borga's an animal. Her Bellator debut was insane.
I know. I loved it. We were what we do here on Fight Bananas once in a while, my man, is we give fighters a week, right? And we gave Jessica Borga the week. We called it Black Widow Week. And, she took us behind the scenes, weigh-ins, the first time at Bellator, getting, gear and all that stuff. It was really cool. And she told, us off there, she's like, I have a really, really good feeling I'm going to get a first-round submission. And I'm like, awesome, that's cool. We want to talk. She's like, no, I really don't want to put that out there because, if you win in the second, and as a fighter, that's amazing. You win the fight, doesn't matter, right? Split decision. If you win the fight, it's awesome. And I don't,
right.
I don't want to put that mojo out there, but first round, sick armbar. That was awesome by Borga. She's going to be fighting soon. Can't throw that out there yet, but she'll be fighting soon.
Oh, really? That'll be good. I'll definitely be watching for that. She's a killer. Ross has a lot of good dudes out there. I like training out there. And I'm happy you put me in contact with Mike because, this is definitely, my forever home now.
Okay. Talk about it, man. Talk about Orlando, Jungle. Just what a year. We have huge crushes on Felicia Spencer, the gym. I love me some Luke. Luke is my guy.
Yeah.
Megan Colley, just, a great vibe. They've always been really good to me and Fight Bananas. So, we love showing the love some back. Yeah, man, talk to me about how, the jungle, your day in, day out, and just the grind.
So when I first moved out here, I didn't have anywhere to train, and I drove all the way to Lakeland to talk to Ross, just because like he let me on his team and stuff, so I didn't want to just like text him and be like, hey, I moved, I can't train with you anymore. So I drove out to see him in person just to be like, hey, like it's just too far of a commute, like, whatever. So he's like, oh, well, where do you live? And I was like, oh, I'm living in Orlando right now. And he put me in contact with Mike, and I actually came to the gym's pro class. It was my first class, and I just got my ass kicked for an hour. I was super out of shape. I hadn't trained in like seriously in like a couple of months. So
Right.
I went there, and yeah, it just kind of it kind of just became a thing from there. When I first started training there, I didn't train too often. I was one of those guys that kind of just came to spar, and then I took a short notice fight in January of 2018 on about 3 weeks, and then I lost that fight. I was in super bad shape. But yeah, and then from there I just started training every day, and now it's like what I do full time. I have a little. I also work there as a kids coach.
Okay.
And then I have a little afternoon job where I actually teach gymnastics.
Awesome. I saw that. Okay, so when you fought, all three for Combat Night. Is that right?
Yeah, so I just had my fourth fight with Combat Night in November.
Okay. Is it cool to have? Do you have a really good relationship with Combat Night? It seems like you do, or is it with the jungle?
I would say that it's a little bit of both. I like Mitchell. I think Mitchell does like a lot for the sport. Mitchell's always been very, very cool with me. I remember the last time that I lost, he came into the back room and he kind of talked to me, and I remember what he said to me just kind of like it stuck with me. It like felt good, because like losing a fight, like it sucks. Like you feel super shitty, and
Sure.
he kind of just like lifted my spirits, and I took like 8 months between like that fight and my next fight, and then I dropped a weight class and kind of focused on like my nutrition and being a better athlete, and worked on myself like as like the whole package. And yeah, it definitely helped. I think Mitchell does a lot for the sport. I like Mitchell a lot.
For sure, man. And, we won't kind of bring up exactly what you might have in, out there. And I know you kind of announced it, and I kind of don't want to, get into it if it's not out there and all that stuff. But, what's your mindset going in right now to 2020? What's kind of, a goal for you with mixed martial arts and, the fight game? What is something you definitely want to achieve here in 2020?
I would like to go 3-0 as a pro. That is like an ideal situation. I'd like to fight 3 or 4 times, like 3 at minimum. That's my goal going into the year. I want to fight the first quarter of the year, and then in the summer, and then in the fall, and I like to relax during the holidays.
Right. So the Christmas holidays, and did you have a good Christmas holidays this past?
I did, man. It was relaxing. I didn't do too much. My family's a little scattered right now. My sister's about to move to Hawaii with her husband and stuff, so I didn't do too much, kind of just hung out, relaxed. How was your Christmas, man?
No, dude, it was awesome, bro. We got 2 boys, 7, 7.5, and 2.5. So they're all in. You know what I mean? Like they wake up that day and Christmas Eve, and it was hanging out with so much friends and family here. And then we got 2 girls on the way, literally going to be here any day now. So it's gonna be fun, man. We have a good time. But you did mention Hawaii and sister. I wanted to know if they have an extra bedroom. I need to get away, a little vacation time. Living in Hawaii, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got to figure out a way to get myself out there. But yeah, man, come along. We can make it a party.
There you go. We'll record just 32 podcasts in a row, sipping on margaritas on the beach. That sounds epic.
I mean, that sounds like a good time, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, so, I talked to you off air, and I was just going through some of these champions in the UFC. There's just, there's new champions and with Volkanovski. There's champions that kind of happen mid-year with Israel, the Stylebender. And then, of course, there's like guys like Khabib and John Jones that have just been in there forever. And there's already fights with Joanna and Whaley already lined up. I would like to kind of break a couple of them down, a couple of divisions down, and see where you think could happen in 2020 going forward, and some fighters you might like. That fighters, everyone's Macy Barber, right? She had such a great 2019. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen to her in 2020. Can she go up the rankings? She's at 9 right now. Can she win 2 more fights and then have a big fight with Valentina to kind of close out the year? Something like that. You know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, I think for Macy Barber, I think that's super doable. I mean, she's super violent. Like, I feel like it's the best way to describe her. She's violent.
Right.
She's very exciting to watch. I think her and Shevchenko would make a super fucking exciting fight. Like, that would be, I think it'd be a banger, like, for 5 rounds.
Yeah, if it makes it 5 rounds. Sometimes it's so crazy, right? Like, if you don't have Felicia Spencer, strength and grit, like, some of these girls, like, they can't. So Michelle Waterson and Joanna went 5 rounds, but to me, if I can call it out, right, Joanna was dominant. Usually it's not you don't see these 50-50 Rory, Robbie Lawler in the female divisions. When Amanda hits Cyborg goes down. Like, it's kind of funny. Other than Felicia Spencer, I'm trying to remember another banger that went 3 or 5 rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's really not many of them. That's like a good point. There's a lot. At the champion level for females, I definitely feel like there's a lot of finishes. There's a lot of high level, a lot of volume.
Right. Okay, so that's the flyweight. So that's I have it too, man. I got Macy Barber and Valentina somehow meeting up, probably towards, like I said, the end of the year. I know Valentina's got a match with Caitlin kind of lined up in Houston. So I see Valentina going through one more, maybe 2. Maybe they throw another one at her. I don't know. Like, there's a couple other girls in front, but Macy's just like, she just has this momentum of the train of that UFC wagon behind her. I definitely see Macy and Valentina, hooking up later in the year. Okay, I know I don't want to sound like a homer, and I know, but it's just too good to be true. We're here in the female division. Brother, I see in the featherweight, man, I see Felicia and Amanda hooking up. I do. I think Amanda's going to take care of business at Norfolk in February 29th on ESPN. And then maybe the summer, that awesome July 4th card. I would love to see the Phenom and Amanda Nunes go at it for that featherweight strap.
100%. I think 100% this time next year, I think Felicia is going to be the champion. I think that I think she beats Nunes whenever they do meet. I think they'll probably meet sometime at the end of summer, maybe the beginning of fall.
Right.
That's what I would like to see. But I think Felicia can beat any girl on the planet, really. She's crazy good. It blows my mind every time I spar her. She just fucking beats me up every day. We just talked to her literally 10, 12 days ago. We've talked to Felicia now for a couple years. Big fans of hers. So, yeah, I cannot – that would be just – gosh, that would be one of those fights that we would be all in on, Felicia versus Amanda. But then the other division, Amanda, how crazy, being a 2-weight class champion, I can really see her in the bantamweight division. It's 100% Aspen Ladd. I think there's no doubt about it. She just defeated GDR. She's defeated Home. Amanda's defeated Pennington. There's that other girl, Arena Aldana, who just with that nasty left-hand hook at UFC 245. I know she's moving up, but she's not ready yet. You know what I mean? Give her another fight or 2. I see Aspen Ladd and Amanda, hopefully, like you said, maybe spring before Felicia, or maybe even after Felicia, at the end of the year kind of a date. Yeah, I think that would make sense. I think it would make sense if Amanda and Aspen met like before, and then closer to like the fall time for Felicia and Amanda to fight. I think that would make sense. I would love to see Aspen Ladd and Amanda Nunes fight. I think that'd be so much fun. I think that'd be a great fight. I think like stylistically, that's a very fun fight to watch. For sure. I'm telling you, man, after this podcast, I'm going to send it to the ESPN brass. So I'm going to give them the 2020 calendar for them. Like we're hooking it up right now. And then, of course, in the strawweight, they already have it all set up. Joanna is fighting Jungwei Lee, and I called it kind of before they matched that up. I called it like late after Joanna's win. I go, that is the best fight they can make in the female division in any weight class. To me, it's just that old school versus new school. Joanna's still got a humongous name. You can maybe argue the biggest name on the female side. There's no more Rouseys, there's no more Cyborg, and Amanda's up there. But Amanda, fight-wise, she's the GOAT. She doesn't talk a lot. You know what I mean? She doesn't go out there. She doesn't spit. You don't see her in commercials. But Joanna, when it's fight week, she's everywhere. She's just a superstar, especially worldwide. And talking about worldwide, Wei Li is just a monster. She's just incredible. The numbers she's got, in China and everything. So that is the biggest fight they can make in that strawweight division. Any division. 100%. There's going to be lots of eyes on that fight. They're a crazy draw. I mean, like they have a lot of people that follow them. They have a lot of fans that are going to want to see that fight. And I love that fight. Personally, I'd like to see Joanna get the title back. I'm huge fan of hers. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Oh, dude, I love her, man. I love her too. She's met her a couple times down there at Coconut Creek. She is exactly who you think she is. She's a badass. Super nice when it's time to be nice, but like I've seen her train and hit pads. And I was down there for Coconut Creek for a couple of days, my man, and I'm like, JDS was there, and he's getting ready for a fight. So I'm like, watching Junior Dos Santos hit the pads, it's like baseball bat Bo Jackson in his prime. Crack.
Ugh.
So I was like, oh, man, that's awesome. Went down to the other side. Their gym is humongous. I walk over, and then all of a sudden I hear those noises again. I'm like, wow, JDS is back in that octagon doing it. I walk over. It's not Junior Dos Santos. It's Joanna Jacek. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I've never heard whoosh, whoosh. It was so loud. I'm like, and she's just jabbing, popping 1-2, 1-2. It's incredible. She is a absolute stone cold killer in the octagon.
Yeah,
Nuts.
I mean, she's another one. She's another, like the best way to describe her is just ultra violent, just violent as fuck. Like I ever since she like made her UFC debut is like when I first heard about her, and I've followed her ever since. Like I'm a huge fan of hers. I think the fight with her and I can never say the champion's name right now. I never say it right.
No, it's so it's so funny. I think I nailed it. So like I listen and watch. That's all I do is MMA and media, and I listen to different shows. So I've like in Chael Sonnen and different people. It's like Jung Wei Lee. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I just talked to Din Thomas, and we had like this 2019 year cap and review, and I'm like, yeah, Jung Wei Lee. And he's like, bro, I've never heard that. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, I think I nailed it. He goes, I've heard it 8 different ways, and I've never heard it that way. So it's it's up for debate.
Yeah, she'll have to clarify after that fight.
And now it's like it's to that point that Joe Rogan or John Anik, they're like, hey, whatever you want, we'll just call her champion. It's just
we'll just call her that person. But I think that's another super fun fight to watch. I mean, I think that's another like high volume, lots of striking, another very like violent, very entertaining kind of fight.
And okay, so Drew, you're 135er, right?
Yes, I do. I am going to try to make 125 next year at some point.
Ooh.
Yeah, my last fight was a catchweight at 130, and
Okay.
I came in at 129, and I felt pretty good.
Okay, so that's flyweight. Woo.
Yes, that is the goal. It definitely remains to be seen right now, but that is the goal, is to make 125 next year.
Okay. I was going to break down the heavyweight champions in UFC. Do you want to start the other way? You want to start with the lighter weight classes, or?
I mean, either way, man. I think I keep track of the lighter weight classes probably a little bit more.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do that. So let's go right there in the flyweight. That's kind of funny. We're going to bring up Felicia Spencer once again. Okay. So Henry's out. He's not the flyweight champion anymore. They're making that title on Norfolk, and they're having it. It's Joseph Benavidez versus I think it's Figueroa. I think is the fighting him. That's the main event of Norfolk. So that's the flyweight strap. Where do you see that fight going? And is there anyone else in the flyweight division you're like, yeah, that can be a champion in 2020?
For that fight, I see Benavidez probably winning.
Right.
I just think he's probably the best in the division right now out of, since Cejudo is out. I like Tim Elliott. He's not too big right now, but I like Tim Elliott. I definitely think that he has the potential to go out there and submit a lot of people.
Right.
And I would like to see him work his. I think he's 8 right now. I'd like to see him work his way up the rankings next year.
Dude, it's probably the third. You're the third person in the last 2 weeks that's brought up Tim Elliott to me, and it's that's. Fighters know, you know what I mean? I always say that. I always kind of rely on you guys, especially in the gym. You're training with them, you're watching them, you're seeing the fight camps and the fight game a little bit better. Sometimes I only see on fight day, but I've heard that name now 2 or 3 in a row. I'm looking at Benavidez. Dude, what a monster. Like, no one realized how amazing. He had a split decision loss to Sergio last year, and then he lost to Demetrius Johnson, who everyone has lost to Demetrius Johnson in 2013. It's like it's been 6 years. He's had one loss, and it was a split decision to Serge, who is now in Bellator. So, I see Benavidez. I really think he's going to win and kind of run the flyweight. I think all year. That's my guess.
Yeah, like I said, I think the only person I could see like that would like challenge him would be Tim Elliott, and that's because like his jiu-jitsu it's really good, but it's also really awkward. Like I know like his whole thing is like awkward. He's a very like funky dude the way he moves. But I think him and Benavidez would be a very fun fight to watch. I think it would be stylistically kind of awkward, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch. But I think outside of that, I think Benavidez beats pretty much everyone in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so then the next division is the bantamweight division, and that is Henry Triple Champ Cejudo. I don't know. I'm kind of lost on this one. I thought him versus Sterling would be a great fight. I think Sterling deserves a title shot. I like kind of the top 5, top 6. To me, Peter Yan, he is a machine. When he fights for the championship, I see him winning. And to be like just brutally honest, I think Cejudo will try to duck him for as long as possible. And then all of a sudden you heard it, like Dana after UFC 245, he was already talking about Aldo and versus
right.
And I was like, I didn't get it, right? Like maybe he won the fight, okay. And if he won, I think it's super close. It was a split decision win if he did. But, Jan and Sterling and Sandhagen, like those guys are just, to me, way above Jose Aldo right now, right?
100%. Aldo definitely looked impressive, especially being a guy that struggled to make 45, by some crazy miracle managed to make 35 and not die. And then he looked good. He looked good in that fight. But yeah, I definitely think it would make sense for Aljamain Sterling to get the title shot against Cejudo. And then maybe Aldo fights the loser of that fight. That would make sense if like they're talking about that, because I know that like that seems to be the direction they're going. They kind of want to push Aldo into another title position.
Right. I want Aldo versus Jan. Like I want that. Okay, let's make that the number one contendership. Let's have Henry fight Sterling. And I think Henry wins. I'm not too sure on that. Aljamain Sterling's a stud. And I'm not sure, but I think Aldo and Jan will win, and then at the end of 2020, dude, it's a Peter Yan division, and everyone else is just living in it. I'm just that high on the kid.
I could see that. I think Cejudo probably beats Sterling. I think he would just grind him out. I think it'd be a close fight.
Right.
But I think that his wrestling is just on another level. I think he would be able to kind of grind out a decision against him. But I think Peter Yan would come in and just obliterate him. I mean, like you said, like he's good. Like, I mean, he looks good. He's strong. He's built for the weight class. But it's another fun fight to watch. I think Peter Yan also beats Aldo. I don't think I see Aldo. I think Aldo could beat Cejudo. I think if he could shut down his wrestling with his leg kicks, I think that it would make a very hard fight for Cejudo.
It's crazy, and it's like I'm kind of that way too. I'm almost. I'm just not the cringe guy. I am funny, and I like George Masvidal, and I like everything else. I like the Connor's game sometimes, and Henry just rubs me such the wrong way. But the man is on such a run, and we have him losing like 5 straight fights. But the guy's the champ. It's amazing that he, in a weird way, he almost lacks the respects in the fight game. The guy does win. It is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's kind of people. I feel like people neglect how good he is, just because he is so cringy. I mean,
right.
He posts at least once a day on Instagram where I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, stop it.
It's like he doesn't have like his handlers or his agents or his girlfriends in a different zip code. Be like, dude, Henry, don't put that one out. Sometimes I take a picture and I'm like, dude, I'm looking pretty fly, right? I'm like, I like this picture. I show it to my wife. She's like, nah, don't post that one. Just wait later on tonight.
Like, he's not getting that outsourcing that other people get.
He's not, man. Hey, Drew, I know you got to run. I do want to hit one more with you. This is probably, and I get almost, not hate. That's too harsh. My favorite division in the fight game in 2020 is the featherweights. For one, just making a new champion is just super cool, and it's like fun and new. Alexander the Great Volkanovski, he looks unbeatable. And I just love it. You have legends, Max Holloway, you got Frankie, you have Jeremy Stevens, and then you have all this new blood with Zabit, the Korean Zombie, you got Yer, and then you got Brian Ortega. If it wasn't for Max Holloway, would be the man. I am absolutely in love with this division.
For sure. Max Holloway is my favorite fighter.
Okay, there you go.
100%.
And
what's up?
I was going to say, like, okay, so do you think he deserves the immediate rematch to Alexander, or even as a fan to Max, would you rather him just be like, dude, just take take Jeremy Stevens right in a three round co-main event. Kind of, I know it sounds crazy, just rest yourself. Don't go into a war with the Korean Zombie or Zabit in a 5-round main event. Like, take one off, get a win, and then go right back at it? Or you want him right back in that title fight?
See, I don't know. I'm a big Max Holloway fan, so I think I'd like to see him take the Stevens fight, win that fight, get some momentum. In the meantime, I'd love to see Korean Zombie fight Volkanovski.
Oh, yeah.
I think Volkanovski wins that fight. But I think he looked ultra impressive in the Holloway fight. He looked really good. His leg kicks were insane. I mean, he just looked so good. But I definitely think Holloway. I think he takes the fight with Stevens, wins that fight, builds some traction. I think he takes the time to study and really focus on where he got beat, and I think he's going to be able to get the belt back by the end of the year.
Wow, I do like that. And then, of course, what we can do is in the spring you make Zabit versus Yair. You make that a main event on an ESPN show. You make that the number one contender. Everyone would love to see that fight. That really cleans up the weight class. Then, you see a Max. You might see a Max versus Korean Zombie. You could see a Max versus Volkanovski too. It's just so much. That division literally all year long. And there's guys, I'm a big fan of Josh Emmett. He's down there. There's just so much. Arnold Allen, he's a stud. It's absolutely stacked. The featherweight division 2020 to me will bring out the 3 or 4 top 5, top 10 fights in the whole year, period.
For sure. I mean, I definitely think it's the most stacked division right now. I feel like the top 10 in the featherweight compared to the top 10 in the other weight classes has much more well-rounded fighters all the way around.
Right.
And I just think there are a lot of high-profile fights because every person in the top 5 in that division, they all put on good shows. They all put on great fights.
Wow, awesome. Drew, man, I know you got to run. Definitely spit everyone, all your social media platforms, a couple sponsors. I know me and you've been hooked up with Space Coast Botanicals lately. I'm loving it. God dang, man. That balm, I'm using that 500 balm. It's taking care of my body. Dude, I'm 35 with kids. I every nook and cranny, I kind of bathe in it sometimes,
Oh, man, Space Coast Botanicals, man, I mean, that balm is great. I use it twice a day.
Right.
After each one of my training sessions, I shower. I put it on my hands, my shoulders. It's great. And I also got some of their tincture. And that helps me a lot. I'm a pretty anxious dude. After a hard training, I'm really amped and, I'm very, eccentric. My heart rate's up. And I take some of that stuff, man. It helps me relax. On my drive home, I'm much more relaxed. I'm not fucking freaking out like I was, 10 minutes before. It's great, man. I mean, it's definitely the best CBD product I've ever used, for sure.
It's incredible. It really is great stuff. But yeah, man, keep everyone informed. Any platforms or anything else, if you want to shout out anyone there at the gym. I know you're gonna have fight news soon, and when that does happen, dude, we'll have you right back on. Shoot, maybe we'll have you come on to announce the news. We'll definitely figure that point out, but definitely spit some of your handles and anyone else you want to shout out.
Cool, man. Yeah. My Instagram is spicy135_. That's my Instagram there. I don't have anything else. I use just Instagram. I need to make a Twitter eventually. As far as shout outs, man, I mean, big shout out to, my head coach, Mike. I mean, that man has changed my life. He does more for me than anyone else ever has. He's changed my life. He's 100% made me the athlete and the man that I am today. So I owe Mike a lot. So definitely a big shout out to him. And yeah, man, as soon as I have some fight news and things are a little more clarified, I'll definitely come back on and make that announcement for you guys.
There you go, man. I think it's going to be absolutely bananas. Just throwing it out there, little wordplay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bananas is actually an adjective I use very often.
There you go. We'll definitely be. I think we're going to be best friends for life. I'm going to outro this, especially with that "Killers in My Bag" song. I just can't get enough. I might play it in the car with my boys in the background and just say earmuffs. So I'll figure that point out.
Yeah, it's all right. They just distract them with something.
Dude, sooner or later they got to learn what it is. They got to learn the real life, right? I got to be a father to them. I got to father them up. Sometimes you got to put kilos in the bag. It is what it is.
Yeah, man. You got to introduce them to the ghetto shit sometimes, man.
There you go, brother. Man, appreciate you. Have a great time. We'll talk to you on the real soon. All right.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Later, brother.
See you, man.
Is light works.
Wow, guys, what a good talk with Drew, man. I love that. I love talking with new guys or girls, and just kind of learning their story, following their story. I can't wait. I think 2020 is going to be a humongous year for Drew. Drew, find him on that IG. He kind of spit it out to us, spicy135_. He's doing a lot of big things, jungle MMA and fitness, Space Coast Botanicals, a lot of big things happening there for Drew. So he'll jump back on the podcast later on. Could be next week and another week. He had some fight news. We kind of were talking about it. It's the fight game, so of course stuff happens. But I think he's going to have more news for us in the future. But he had a run and jump. There's like 5 more weight classes, lightweight to heavyweight. Let's break it down. I'll talk about the champion. The challengers, what do I think, who will be the champion at the end of 2020? You ready? All right, here we go. But before we get started, let's thank one of our great sponsors, N Still Nutrition. Check them out at nstillnutrition.com and just buy the stuff, guys. I'm telling you, I said a couple podcasts ago, I know it's a little bit of money, and I know it's something that's like, oh, I haven't taken it yet, and I don't think I need it, but you do. Your body will feel so much better, and you live once. And I know it's like a funny thing, that whole YOLO thing, but like, why would you not want you to be right? Why would you not want your body to feel good day in and day out? And N-Still Nutrition can do that for you. Check them out on Instagram at TheRealNStill, or just go to the mother site, guys, nstillnutrition.com. All right, so in the lightweight division, the champ, Khabib Nurmagomedov. They have a date. Him versus Tony Ferguson's going down in Brooklyn, New York. Okay, so I hate predicting this fight because, we'll have fight breakdowns and we'll give Khabib and Tony its own show, multiple shows, right? But let's just kind of go on the whim. Let's kind of have fun with this, and that's what we're doing. We're projecting and seeing what's going to happen throughout the year. Let's just say Tony Ferguson beats him. He upsets Khabib, right? So now Tony's the champ. I know we got Connor and Connor and Donald happening at the beginning of the year. But I don't think either man is going to fight for the lightweight championship, right? They're fighting for one in the welterweight division, and two, I think, I'm going to call this right now, and it's nothing to do with one of these titles. I think the biggest fight the UFC can make in 2020 is Conor McGregor versus Georgi Masvidal. That's what I think is going to happen. So that means Conor's out, Cowboy's out, Dustin's there. He's coming off the loss. Maybe they'll do Dustin Khabib too. Guys, you guys are going to get excited, and I'm just going to give it to you. How about a Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje main event in the summer for that lightweight strap? Who is not buying the pay-per-view? Who is not going to the show? Who is not excited and tweeting about it and liking and loving and sharing? Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje is a mixed martial artist dream fight, a war, a battle, a standoff. So Dustin again, man, my mind wants Dustin back in that title fight. So Tony versus Justin, I think Tony defends it. I think he has worked so hard to get to that strap. I think he defends it and defeats Justin. So at the end of the year, I think we see Tony fight one last time. I think it will be Tony or Khabib or Tony or Dustin. I said his name enough, so let's get him in there. And there you go. Imagine if we can see Ferg fight Khabib, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin the Diamond in all 1 year. Are you serious? So the lightweight strap has got so much potential. I'm just excited for it. I really am. All right, that kind of transitions us to the welterweight division, which 2019 was the division of the year. It just was the rise of Masvidal, Leon Edwards, the Colby versus Usman trash talk, Usman winning the strap. So first fight, Kamaru Usman, I think, will fight Leon Edwards. That's what I think will happen first. I don't think they'll do the Georgie fight. They might. I I think they might try to squeeze Leon in there real quick beforehand. I don't know. Maybe they do Georgie. Let's see. No, okay. Let's go. Let's go with Masvidal versus Usman. And Leon Edwards will fight Woodley. So then Masvidal, of course, will win the strap. He will defeat any human being alive inside the octagon at any time. So now you got Masvidal is your champion. Leon and Woodley is fighting for the number one contender. And I think Leon beats him. I like his momentum. He's just a little bit more busier. Woodley's kind of been a little bit injury prone lately. And so this is coming out of left field, guys. Tell me you don't see this. Tell me you don't see the story plot of Colby Covington coming back to fight George Masvidal for the welterweight championship. Tell me that's not got pay-per-view points written all over it. So I can see Masvidal versus Usman, and then Masvidal versus Colby. That's the 2020 for the welterweight championship. The middleweight championship, Israel Style Bender Adesanya. Okay, so it looks like he's going to fight Yoel Romero, spring of 2020. I think that's kind of set in stone. I don't think they announced the date, time, all that stuff just yet. But Izzy versus Yoel. Gosh, I want to pick Yoel so much. The man just looks tremendous every single time, and I love watching Yoel fight. But let's just see Israel defends the title. He was the number 2 fighter of 2019, and let's see what happens going forward. So if Izzy defeats him, to me that gives Paulo Costa enough time to recoup from his injury, recover, get back in the gym, put the Space Coast Botanicals all over your body, and get better. Now we're seeing Izzy versus Paulo Costa in the strap. And that's one of the big August. Seems like August, September, they always put a really, really big card together. And then, boom, there you go. Izzy versus Costa. I think Izzy wins that one, too. But, God, how many wars can the man go through? Him versus Gas. I know he defeated Bobby Knuckles, but how many fights can he go? And you still got Darren Till. So there's so much to do here in this division. It's absolutely stacked. It seems like all these divisions are stacked. Light heavyweight, they should name it. You know how it's like the Super Bowl trophy, right? It's the Lombardi trophy. I want the light heavyweight title. The UFC should rename it the John Jones belt. Right? Am I off pace on this? John Jones is the greatest light heavyweight fighter of all time. He's the best fighter of all time. The fighter of the decade, John Jones. So let's rename the belt, Not all of them. There's, welterweight, you can argue this and that. Middleweight, Anderson Silva had it for a long time, but now, Izzy's really putting his stamp on the belt. The light heavyweight title is the John Jones title. He defeats Dominic Reyes, the Devastator. He defeats him. I can see a Glover Teixeira, Anthony Smith, number 1 contendership fight happening. And I think Lionheart, you ready for this one? I think Anthony Smith gets another crack at John Jones. And I think it had a little bit of a controversy, a little bit of respect, Johns to Anthony Smith. So I think we'll see a really cool Lionheart Smith versus John Jones to cap off 2020 in the light heavyweight division. All right, guys, we made it. The final division, 2020's in the books. I'm going to give this to Maynard. I'm going to give this to Sean Shelby. You're welcome. I'm giving you guys the calendar throughout the year. Stipe Miocic, the baddest man in the UFC, the 2-time UFC heavyweight champion, is going to fight DC and this trilogy. My favorite word in mixed martial arts. They will cap off this trilogy sometime in 2020. Then, Stipe will defeat DC. This is his retirement song, but when you have 1 foot out of the mixed martial arts game, you have 2 feet out. Stipe is all in. He's a firefighter and a fighter day in and day out. Stipe will defend his title and defeat Daniel Cormier. So now the heavyweight will have one more title fight. The last card of the year, I'm going to say December 26th, whenever that day is, 23rd, somewhere before Christmas, right? Stipe Miocic versus the Predator, Francis Ngannou. And finally, Francis gains his first UFC championship. He defeats the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miocic, and Francis Ngannou ends 2020 as the UFC heavyweight champion. You're welcome. There you go, guys. You had it. I just gave you all the female divisions. Flyweight to heavyweight. I had my main man, Drew Spicy, help me on it. Guys, we just gave you every championship fight of 2020, and tell me we didn't nail it out of the park. If you guys agree or disagree, you can always at me at David Van Auken on every social media platform. I'm talking about Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Slide in the DMs on Instagram. I love it. Any kind of questions or concerns, or if you just want to talk, hey, I'm there. Instagram at David Van Auken. Definitely give all of our sponsors tons of love. Our newest, sponsor that we had a couple months ago, Makotech Mouthguards. I love them so much. They're doing so much to help fighters, and if you're helping fighters, you're helping us out. Just a great company to be a partner with. Absolutely love them. Follow them on Instagram at Makotech_Mouthguards. But that was it, guys. That was 2020. We've doing it. We got big things happening. We got to think of a name of the show, like the Champions 2020 and Beyond. Damn, that's pretty good. That's off the top of the head. Big up. Thank you to Drew Houp. Spicy 135_. Follow him on the IG. Big stuff happening for him in 2020. Just love talking to him and having his, what he thinks is going to happen to the divisions. Appreciate you guys. iHeartRadio, we love you. We're doing it big for them. Definitely download and subscribe on iHeartRadio. They're seeing you guys. We appreciate it. And, of course, subscribe to the Fight Bananas YouTube channel. We out. 2020, we're doing big things. Stay bananas, y'all.